Mfundishi13 CrystalSun. You know what it is. Today's video is gonna be called Relapse. The reason why I named this video Relapse, because when I'm watching videos of entertainers, teachers, spokesmen, we tend to relapse. What do I mean by relapse? Is a lot of negativity to the positive. Like, you might hear a spokesman talking about their lives and it's always bad. They grew up poor, they was homeless, their parents was on drugs, etc. I say we should evade from that. We should start telling ourselves that life is good. It's not that you're lying, because I noticed you preaching how life was hard at the beginning and then you became successful, which you already are. You don't become. You can instill in younger people, like teenagers, that first you have to struggle to become successful. When you look at the numbers, or ratios, you don't really hear that someone grew up nice and it was just continue to be nice or perfect, and it still is perfect. It's always something tragic. And then you could instill in the youth that everything in life is good. This is what I preach, because perception is everything. What you think is what you feel. What you feel is what you act on, and what you act on become your habits, and habits define character. My life, I like to start with the positive. I always start off positive. You know, people tell me, well, that's a form of lying. I'm like, no, I'm instilling that you are successful. The so-called negativity, that could be concealed. That don't have to be broadcast. People feel like they have to let people know how far they came, and you have to look at both barriers, because you can be instilling something or a certain program into the youth, as you have to struggle to become successful. Asking me for my personal life, at a moment or a stage or a grace period of my life, it felt like I had to struggle in order to go where I was going, because everyone around me, environmental, is expressing the same mantras, the same phrases. Oh, I went through this, I went through that, I've been to jail, I've been to prison, this is how come I got a house, this is how come I got a car. Yes, you can indoctrinate the youth in that type of form, because how you repeatedly saying it, and then you go to everyone and you listen to them. Now, this is not a shot at anyone that speaks or is an entertainer. This is something that came across my mind. I feel like we should keep the barrier high. You know, I mean, to watch your race on TV, to opening sentence, the opening sentence is, oh, my mama was on drugs, I did have this. I'm here to tell you, you have everything. You choose to value what you want to value. You probably didn't have the Jordans, the $100 shoes. I'm sure you had shoes. Probably was Reeboks. The value came from the numeral standpoint instead of the principle of I have shoes to wear to school, class, any place. You hear that a lot. I didn't grow up without a father. You grew up with the father. Number one, the father is you can teach yourself. Number two, your uncles and grandparents are your teachers, what makes them your parents also. Your auntie, your grandma, and mother is all in one. Vice versa with the uncle, grandpa, and father. So you always you visualized it the way you wanted to visualize it. Visualize it as English taught you. I don't have. In reality, you have everything. So, to my point, you didn't grow up poor, because how poor was we to make it in front of a camera? How poor was you to make it to the NFL? How poor was you to make it to the NBA? How bad was it when you survived what you so called labeled as bad? Let's alter the narrative. I grew up with my parents. I grew up with abundance. Every TV show is always the negative. I grew up inside the hood. You grew up in an area that you thought was bad. It could have been too bad because you made it out. We have to use choice of words. I speak on my life. I meet plenty of females. And when I hear them open up, oh, I was 9 years old and, I got raped, I grew up in the hood, it tends to turn me off because I'm looking for the positivity. Not to say that them situations don't happen, that it didn't harm them psychologically. Like I say, we have to look at the positivity. Because verbally speaking about it, you're verbally relapsing. We was taught to speak about our problems. I'm gonna say that again. We was taught to speak about our problems rather than speak about our solutions. You're taught to talk about your problems and not the solution. Express your problems. That's what they teach you, right? Solutions cure problems. Then problems don't exist to begin with. You have to talk about your solutions. How it would never happen again. Follow me? That's my take on it. So, I'm not begging you to pair with me or to agree with me. It's a thought. How come when we watch videos of our kind, it's always they grew up poor or rough, they from the hood? You're not from the hood. You're from the motherland. You didn't grow up poor. You're the wealthiest source on planet Earth. Let's alter the narrative. Because once the youth always hear positivity, they're going to instill in their mind that once you're positive, you will stay positive. And you don't become, you are successful. So let's subtract the phrase that you have to go through something to be someone. That's not true, because some people, or should I say most people, are born millionaires. They just came through the route of a vagina and now $40 million ahead, I should say. Why do you have to go through something negative to achieve something positive? Have you ever asked yourself that? How come we are taught that? Let's teach our kids, let's teach the youth. You go through positive to attain positive. And positive will always equal positive. You don't have to go to jail or prison to know not to go to jail or prison. Empathy. You can look at someone else's life to know you don't want to go to jail or prison. You don't want to have a felony record. Empathy. You never been paralyzed. You see people in wheelchairs. You instantly know you don't want to have that experience. That's not a diss at anyone that's disabled. I won't call you disabled because actuality, you are able. You're in a wheelchair. So, wordplay once again. So, that's how I look at it. And that's what it is. Why do we tell our youth that you have to go through something in order to achieve positive? We have to experience a hardship to know what's good. That's not true. Positive equals a positive. Electricity, we are electrical beings. The positive flow of the life. Let's keep it on that frequency. We don't want to instill it in their minds. You have to suffer in order to be successful. Because once they keep hearing that mantra, that quote, that hook, that chorus, it downloads into the program. Probably could have been the next scientist, and kept hearing that mantra and thought they had to get in trouble just to look like they have a testimony. All we have to do as a people is alter the narrative. No more, I grew up poor, I didn't have this, I had to go to jail 7 times, and then now I own a Lamborghini. Nah, that's not how it goes. We have to have the positive frequency released to the universe. And it's not that you lying. Because like I say, how bad was it to the point you have that Lamborghini? How poor was you and you're in a mansion right now? How did those so-called detrimental experiences uphold you and you're here to talk about it? Keep it on the positive frequency. Like I said, I talk to plenty of females. It didn't happen to me. I talk about the past, the negativity. It tends to turn them off. You know? Know of the experience. You don't have to keep releasing it in every video. Because people are watching, they are listening. And the youth tend to grasp and inhale what you're saying. You know, most youth are going to jail because they heard of what their favorite rapper been through. It's a chain reaction, like, follow me. That's what we're doing to ourselves. It's another disease that we're putting forth. You mean to tell me how all these rappers, actors, everyone just grew up bad, poor, and was from the hood? Mfundishi13CrystalSun.